Every year we hold the Pete Newell Tall Women's Camp in different locations, and the benefits for young ladies to participate in the Pete Newell Tall Women's Camp is they learn about footwork, reading the defense and using a counter move and fundamentals, and they learn how to use both their left hand and their right hand and their left foot and their right foot as a pivot foot. And this just isn't taught much anymore. Ann Meyers, of course, was a 4-time All-American at UCLA, their first one, and was drafted by Indiana in the NBA. And first coach that Pete contacted was Ann Meyers. I mean, she was with us from the beginning.
A lot of the women's coaches, they knew who Pete was in the sense of the big man camp that they'd heard on the NBA side. But now to have Pete Newell come in and bring his knowledge and his understanding of the game and his footwork and to bring it to the women, I think a lot of college coaches were excited to see that.
We brought the Pete Newell Tall Women's Camp to Ventura College because a couple of our coaches have been with us for quite some time. Will Cowan, who's now the athletic director here, has been with us about 5 or 6 years.
We have a tremendous history here at Ventura College. On the women's side, 21 consecutive conference championships, 6 state championships, and another 4 championships on the men's side. It's one of the greatest basketball communities anywhere in California. Pete Newell's footwork is a curriculum by itself. And once you learn and have mastered it and can teach it, it's almost like learning a language. Pete Newell was the master of this curriculum, and Pete Newell Jr. is the closest thing we have to his father. He's a technician, he's a taskmaster, he's a step-by-step guy.
He's a good listener, a good communicator, and most importantly, a good teacher. His attention to detail and knowledge of the game is excellent, and very much like his dad, he's a real student of the game.
And my question to you that doesn't have to do with school philosophy, have you ever talked to your perimeter players about how you want the ball?
This is revolutionary as far as the footwork and explaining why you do what you do. And I think especially as a female athlete,
the local coaches that help run the camp, they really have a great feel for how to help kids. And we've all coached at many different levels and can really, I think, help relate this great camp and all the great concepts of Pete Newell to the younger populations of students coming up through the ladder. And it's really important that they learn the footwork of how to play in the paint.
Sometimes kids play too many games and they don't really appreciate when the season is. Here in the camp, you appreciate working on the fundamentals of the game and then carrying that over into the season. And knowing that the season is in December, January, February, and in March as a college player, you want to play the best basketball of your life.
We have had 11 ex-campers play in the WNBA.
I just learned to read the defense at a very early age. And so once I learned how to read the defense, it really forced people to have to send 2 players to me, right? Because the one player, I could just tap her feet. Whatever she was doing, I just knew there was a move that I could beat her. So when they started sending 2 players, well, then I had to become a better passer. I had to learn to post up, be stronger. I had to learn to run the floor faster.
And with them putting the emphasis back on fundamentals and footwork, it can make a huge change in how a player can develop and improve. And you know, those little improvements can go a long way to change a player into, like I said, a good player into a great player.
There's kind of, the way I describe it is there's a thread that runs through the game, and this is a rather significant part of the thread. What to do when you catch the ball in the post. And regardless of what offense you run, where you play or whatever level, you're going to have to do something identical to this or very, very close to it to be successful.
Work on the fundamentals. Work on your weaknesses. Because when you're just playing, sometimes you don't get taught how to play the game.